going on? My name is Brad Brown.
My name is Tavon Johnson.
My name is Tavon Hills.
My name is Joel Peebles.
I'm Follering Campbell.
My name is Jalen Fuller.
I'm from Mitchellville, Maryland.
I'm from Suitland, Maryland.
I'm from Marlboro, Maryland.
I'm from Silver Spring, Maryland.
Born and raised from Washington, D.C.
From Virginia originally, and I reside in Capitol Heights, Maryland.
I'm a millennial father.
The thing I enjoy most about being a father is just literally watching my son grow up. I mean, every day, it's something new that I see in him that just puts a smile on my face, makes, being a father that much more enjoyable. Just literally watching him learn and develop into a person day by day, and, seeing him go from being a little baby that I had to hold and feed to, being able to make his own breakfast and different things like that. So just watching him grow up, watching him learn and progress as an individual on a daily basis is what's most enjoyable for me.
Living your life over again through another person. Like every day, cartoons that you used to watch when you were a kid, being excited for different moments. I remember even last night I put on SpongeBob just for the fun of it. And my son, he looks up from his tablet, starts looking at the TV, and he falls in awe. And it's just great to see a kid, figure out life and figure out what they do like and what they don't like. And, getting into that, I think that's the best part about being a father.
Growing up with my kids, as well as they growing up with me, just being there for them, just learning things each and every day with each other.
Just the responsibility, being there for my kids. I enjoy, taking my son to basketball games, basketball practice. I enjoy taking my daughter to her gymnastics class and, ballet classes. Just teaching. It's just, like I said, the responsibility of being there and guiding them in the right direction.
Everything. Being able to impact life that I created, the positivity that they can offer to the world. Being able to be a part of somebody's life who's full of love and that comes from me, it's the greatest feeling I've ever actually.
Definitely the protection piece. My children are very active. They get into a lot of the times. I can't tell you how many times we've had to call poison control for my daughter just shoving things in her mouth. And just, my son is very active as well. He has a couple of learning challenges, and my wife does a very good job at keeping up with all the school tasks and everything like that, and just learning how to be the best support system I can be, even when there's things that are beyond my understanding with the school systems or anything like that. She's so knowledgeable of all those things, and just showing up and being the best parent that I know how to be. Coming up under my parents, and just making sure everybody is well protected and going in the right direction.
The main challenge is the world we live in, the society we live in. The worry of trying to do a good job so that they can be good people. The challenges that they will potentially face and likely face, and the fear that I might not be able to protect them when they need me most.
Challenges, just adjusting, before, having a child or having a son, it's just you by yourself being able to do whatever you want. But now you got to think for somebody else. So just, adjusting to the maturity that it takes to be a father and raise a child. I became a father at a young age. So I didn't have any, too much experience. There's really no experience for you to have when having a kid, but the biggest challenge is, just adjusting, just learning how to become a parent and, trying to, be better than your parents were before you. Not saying that they're bad or anything, but, just every generation wants to be better than the one before them. So, you trying to take what your parents did for you and apply that to, what you do with your child and just, make everything better. So the biggest challenge would just be, the adjustment to it from being alone and by myself to having a kid that I had to focus on and worry about.
I think the biggest challenge for me is just worrying about coming out my doors and not seeing the next day. Knowing that I'm a black man and one day my life will be taken, but I don't worry about it too much because I know for a fact that I taught everything. I teach my kids everything that they need to learn to survive.
I think actually stepping into that role of being a father, I know it scared the life out of me when I found out that I was. And, you know, it was a time where I kind of just put it on the back burner and was like, I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going to move. You know, I'm just let whatever happens, happen. And, you know, that's kind of your mind. Well, my mindset until I really had to figure out, like, this is a life. This is somebody that you're nourishing, and this is somebody that's going to grow under your tutelage. So, you know, I had to just shake off my own personal feelings and step into a role of a real father, which was the hardest part of it.
The challenges I face of being a father is with my profession. Just being away from them for so long, you know, playing basketball in Europe, it's difficult. You know, when they need help and I'm not there physically, that's probably the most difficult part in being a father that I'm facing.
Understanding my kids, understanding my kids' mom, understanding what's my role as a dad when it comes down to my kids. Respecting them, hearing them out, and just learning how to love them.
Sacrifice my fun and my freedom. Anybody that knows me knows I like to go out, have fun, turn up and party. So I mean, I still am able to do that. You know, I have a good support system that, you know, every once in a while I am able to still go out, hang out with my friends and different things like that. But just adjusting from the freedom I had before, the life I lived before, to, you know, having to have a child that I gotta, you know, make sure is accounted for 24/7, 365. That was the biggest challenge for me. Is, you know, I lost my freedom.
It was probably becoming a father, because I didn't come into my relationship with any children, but my wife did at the time. So when we first got together, her son, who's now my son, has been for a long time now, he was about 3, and you know, coming into a relationship, being going from a bachelor and pretty much jumping right into fatherhood, it was challenging, because you're not used to giving time to a child and your significant other at the same time, and you're kind of learning the person that you're trying to be with, as well as learning that child and all the intricacies of both relationships. They definitely play a role, and sometimes can be stressful and straining, but you know, with God and patience, I learned to navigate my way and start to grow that young man up into the young man he's becoming today.
Just the toughest thing is just trying to make sure that I'm consistent, that I'm taking care of myself to be the best version of myself for them. Believing in my morals, believing in my standards, and passing that down, even when the world isn't as positive or as, you know, PC as we want it to be.
I think it will be find the medium of how you teach your child. And by that I mean, you know, on one side, especially with everything going on today, on one side you have extremists on the left, another side extremists on the right. And you know, when you're raising your child, you want them to be as well-versed as possible, to love everyone, you know, to not let anybody that they see around them, you know, be demeaned or bullied or anything. And you know, trying to instill that into a child and figure out, okay, what is right, what is wrong, especially compared to the teachings that you had from your parents. I think trying to figure out how to instill the right ethical code in the next generation and our children is probably the toughest thing.
I have 1 kid.
I have 2.
2 years old, 3 in this upcoming January.
1 son. One. I'm not going over 1. He is 7 years old, and yeah, that is my only one.
I have twin daughters.
Two. I have two children, Amor and Amir, boy and girl, 11 and 6. No, 11 and 5, I'm sorry. Going on 6, going on 16, but yeah.
Right now I have two kids. I have a son, he's 12, and I have a daughter, she's 6.
My sister passed away about 5 years ago, and I took in her kids, my niece and nephew. My nephew doesn't stay with me anymore, but he's doing well. I still take care of my niece, and I have a 2-year-old son, and I had a daughter, but she passed away.
I'm raising my son to be a young man just by giving him confidence, installing him to be independent, and just to have a strong work ethic. He's going to need that in whatever he does. He loves playing basketball, school. So just, him being independent and having a strong mind.
Luckily my son is at the age where it's not, he's still developing his personality. So I haven't gotten into the hard part, which people say come with when they start making decisions for themselves and, hitting puberty and things like that. So I think the hardest part right now is to not reflect your anger on the child. So it's nights where he wants to wake up at 4, 5, 6 in the morning and he wants to get up and play with toys and watch TV and play with you. And you can't wake up and be frustrated. If you're doing something, you sitting there, you got a lot of work to do and your child is hungry or something like that, and you really need to lock in and you can't concentrate, you can't be mad at the child. I think it's literally the unconditional love. You really get the essence of what unconditional love means when you do finally have a child. So I think that's the only way that I can really raise him to be a great person, is just give him unconditional love and really try with him, work with him,
I'm raising him to be strong, be confident, be loving, be a person of the world, be human, and to be the example for him so that my trials and tribulations won't be his and he can rise above what I'm even able to do.
It's hard. Honestly, there's no real perfect answer. There's no real perfect way to do it. It's just something you kind of got to take every chance you get. Each scenario, situation is going to be unique and different when you had that conversation or that encounter with your child. Because at 7 years old, they don't understand and they're not able to wrap their mind around things the way we as teenagers or adults are. So even as far as explaining things to them, you kind of got to break it down. We're in the midst of COVID-19 and my 7-year-old son still doesn't fully grasp why he can't go outside and play with his friends and different things like that. So, it's just constantly reiterating certain things to him, training him or raising him to be respectful of adults and, trying to teach him to do the right thing at an early age so that when he gets older, it doesn't translate or transition into something bigger than a little story he told about taking a piece of candy or something like that. So, each situation, each scenario is unique and different. And, you just got to kind of understand the relationship that you have with your child and how you're raising him in order to, figure out what things you want to say to him and how you want to teach each different scenario to him.
Definitely doing my best to teach him about respect and authority. Our race has been put down a long time. We all know that. But bringing up a young man, you definitely have to teach them how to be true to themselves and not take offense to everything. Because once you're offended, being respectful to authority kind of goes out the door. And you got to know who to respect, how to respect, and what to expect when dealing with certain authority, whether it be a teacher, whether it be a police officer, whether it be a pastor or someone in the church. Everybody deserves a certain level of respect. And respect and humbleness, humility will take you a lot further than sometimes your skills will. And I'm definitely trying to teach him to be skillful, stay in his books, and just remain humble about everything that he goes through in life. He's very talented. He's very loving and a passionate young man. And definitely want him to keep all those aspects about himself while he's going through his life's journey. And I know he'll make it far as long as he remains those things.
raising them to just enjoy life, enjoy being children, enjoy just living to play with their toys and going to school each day and getting their education.
My daughter is funny. She's basically stuck to my hip right now. But I'm showing her the love that she's supposed to have and deserve as a young woman. And I also show her by the way I love my wife. She knows that no one should ever put her have hands put on her. That no one should ever call out her name. That she needs to have some proper attire on depending on where she's at. She's 5, so she's always taking her clothes off. It's like, go put some clothes on before you come down to breakfast. So just making sure she knows the right kinds of love, and always showing her the utmost respect as a young lady, even though she's 5 years old, and nurturing and care for her, and making sure she knows that daddy will always protect her.
I'm raising my daughter to be a queen. I'm raising her to be independent, just to know that she can do anything she puts her mind to. I know there's a lot of stereotypes on what women can do, but I don't want her to be a part of that. If she's inspired to be, she's also said it a lot of times that she's inspired to be a president. And if that's what she wants to do, then that's what she wants to do, and I'm gonna put any effort into it to help her do that.
So being that you have to pick up the responsibility of taking care of your sister's child, has that experience been?
It's been great. It's tough too. It's a daily reminder of, the tragedy and the trauma we've been through, but feeling like that I'm, doing it for my sister and trying to pick up for her and, raise a good child in the way that she would want her child to be. Young fathers are not responsible.
We're immature.
Deadbeats.
Definitely being in their children's lives. I feel like that's, especially in the Black community, that's definitely one of the biggest stigmas about young millennial fathers, that they just out here, sowing their oats and running off and getting with other women.
From what I see in the community that I'm around, none of that's true.
The worst one is probably that even if a Black male is in the father's life, absent of a mother, he's not a good father. And I didn't notice that until I started taking my son out with just me and him. Not going out with his mother, not going out with my parents or my family, when it would just be me and him go to a restaurant, or me and him going into a store, and a whole bunch of people will walk up to me and be like, "You're doing a great job. You're being a great father." And I it's cool to hear that, but in another stance, it's like you won't see that if a white man had his kid in the store or whatever, and he was just walking around with him being a good father. Black men are great fathers. Yeah, every race has their issues, but Black men as a whole are good fathers, and that's something that I portray. And I hate the fact that people in this nation, the people in the community, don't think that way.
And that's not all of us. That's definitely not all of us, and I feel like that stereotype definitely needs to be broken by the generation with children that's coming up. The fathers that are doing what they're supposed to be doing, the fathers that are showing up to their schools, or the fathers that are taking them to the playgrounds and not just dishing money and running out the door. We are out here and we are doing the things that we are supposed to do, especially my circle of friends. There's not many of us that are single. We all have children and we all doing what we're supposed to be doing.
We don't do anything, we're just out here.
All you want to do is play sports and smoke and drink and live your best life without your children. I just feel like there are a lot of great fathers out there.
Fathers are not, in the household of their kids, or that they're locked up. And I'm glad I'm not a part of that. I'm married to my wife. We have 2 kids, and I take care of them. I take my son to his basketball games. I take my daughter to her gymnastics class. So it's just, just that breaking that stigma is hard, but it's something that we have to do.
Becoming a statistic, having kids at a young age, not doing anything with ourselves and with our lives and different things like that, and that we're not capable of raising a child, to be a successful young man in the world that we live in. I think those are the main stigmas and things that go against, or stereotypes that go against young fathers. Just seeing us as, oh, this boy that ran out here and got some girl pregnant and he ain't doing what he's supposed to do. He probably out here on the street selling drugs or something like that. When in a lot of cases, at least all my friends that have kids, including myself, we all doing well for ourselves, doing good things, whether it's, just in our occupations or in the community as a whole.
Oh yeah, 100. My father to me, and this may be biased, of course, but he's the best man ever existed, ever. Period.
Yeah, I never had any issues with my dad. My dad's still in my life. He is still, with my mother. Feel like I had definitely had a excellent role model, and still do. He just checks up on me at random. He's always helping me out, and he's definitely my biggest inspiration and role model.
My relationship with my dad now is great. When I was younger, it was rocky at times. I didn't grow up live with him for a lot of it, but we have moved past that, and he's been a great supporter and communicator for me.
Yeah, I had a good relationship with my dad. Me and my dad still have a good relationship. We don't talk every day, but we talk, pretty much on a weekly basis. He stops by, we see each other, we hang out, we kick it and everything. So yeah, me and my dad, we're pretty close.
I never knew my dad growing up, but I knew for a fact when I had my kids, I had to be there.
I had a great relationship with my father. Growing up, I remember he did help me with my schoolwork, took me to all my basketball games. He was there for anything I needed. Bought me my shoes, clothes. I just remember going to, basketball games, especially when I was in college. And him being there every single game, home or away. Him being in the media, you know what I mean, talking to fans. But we had a great relationship, and it's something that I try to install into my kids.
Be the example.
Take care of yourself first.
It's a lot, man. The comedy version of that is cherish your sleep, because that's one thing you will never get back in your life. Once your child starts sleeping, you used to being up all the time.
Be consistent.
Just do what you gotta do. If a child needs something, there should be no reason you hesitate to provide that for your child. You gotta provide financially, you gotta provide emotionally, spiritually, physically. Just spend time with your kid. Make sure that they understand that you are their father and that you love them and that you're looking to build a bond with them that's gonna last a lifetime. So don't take no shortcuts. Just be the best father that you can be. Take advice from your parents, your father, if your father's in your life. If you have a father figure, take advice from him. And that's just mainly it, Find you a support system, somebody that you can talk to, somebody that you can go to, and just make it happen. Do what you gotta do. You should always want better for your kid than what you have for yourself. So whatever you gotta do to get that, put your foot on the gas, keep your foot on their neck, and take care of your kid, man. That's all I can really tell the young fathers.
On the serious side of it, be patient with everything. Be patient with having a kid, because once you have one, your life changes forever and you can't go back. When you have a kid, be patient with your kid, because they don't understand everything we understand, and they're growing and learning, and you have to cater to them, and by doing that, you have to be patient. And then be patient with their growth. As they get older, they may start making decisions that you may not like. They may start forming ideologies that you may not like. And not saying that it's just a phase, but at the end of the day, they're still your child, and it goes back to unconditional love. There should be unconditional love there. So, just have patience with them through whatever mindset they are. Your kids are going to go through stuff that you may or may not know they go through. You got to have patience with them, because sometimes they may act a way that you don't understand why, but it's because of what they're going through. So I think the biggest thing in reality is just have patience with your kid.
Be present and be strong, especially our Black men who has to face adversity from the moment we wake up to the moment we go to sleep. And hopefully it's at our own terms and not in the terms of someone else.
Make sure you learn yourself. Make sure you're happy. Without just learning happiness, how you gonna give it to your kids? Enjoy being with your children. Even if it's just a moment, just be there for them. Ask questions, and just love on them and listen to them.
Just to be strong, you know what I mean? Just to be there. and just enjoy it. Enjoy being a father, enjoy taking care of your kids, enjoy your responsibilities, and everything else plays out as it should.
Just make sure you show up for your children. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it be a small event at school, whether it be just going into a room and playing with them from time to time. Just make sure that you know, or that they know, that their father cares for them, and don't just be a dad, be a father, be the support system. Um, Make sure they know that you're able to be open for them to talk to, and that you'll always love them for life.